9.2 is on what's called domain and range. You may have heard the word range before when you were learning about mean, median, and mode, like in elementary school. This is not the same kind of range. So, domain. That is a list of all the x values. We're just going to list them out. And there are a few things that you need to note. Number one, we always list least to greatest. Which number is smaller, 2 or negative 5? 2 or negative 5? Which
negative
one?
5.
Negative 5. Which one is smaller, negative 5 or negative 7?
Negative 7.
Negative 7 is smaller. Good. Another thing you need to note is that you don't write the same number twice. So if you're looking at a whole bunch of points or a table, if you have the same number that shows up more than once, when you're making your list, you only write that number one time. You don't need to repeat anything. So we're going to list the domain of this table. There are 5 points. Domain are your x's. It's those right there. Now, the formal way of writing this list is to include these curly brackets, but those are kind of hard to draw, so you can just leave them out if you want. But I will put them in. So, of your x's, which of those 5 numbers is the smallest?
Negative 1.
Negative 1.
Yes.
Good. Then what?
0.
0. Keep going.
Give me 4.
Yep, somebody else?
5.
Not Brody?
6.
Good, Brody. Now, the range is probably a list of all the y values. Domain is your x's. Range are your y's. The same rules apply as before. One way that I think is the easiest way to remember which one is x and which one is y's, think of it in alphabetical order. In the alphabet, D for domain comes before R for range. X comes before y's. So domain is first, x is first, then range and y's. So I'm going to list my range. Alright, my smallest y value. So y's are over here on the right. I have negative 9, negative 5, 3, negative 2, and negative 8. But we want to list them smallest to largest. Alright, Hayden, what is the smallest number? Negative 9 is the smallest. Good. What's the next one, Amanda? Good. Then what, Creed?
Negative 5.
Yes. Which leaves us negative 2 and then 3. This is not so bad, right?
Not terrible.
Shouldn't be terrible. How do you tell if I say, okay, well, is this a function? How would you tell? What does it repeat? The x's. We would say that yes, it is a function because these x values don't repeat. We don't care about the y values. So I want you on these 4 questions at the bottom. You're going to work on those with the people at your groups. And then I'm going to call on some of you to give me the answers. Alright, so number 1, I want the domain Aiden for number 1.
The domain -3, 0, 2, 5.
Perfect. Alright, what is the range? Clayton.
2, 6, 7.
Perfect. And is it a function, Xander? Yes. Number 2, what is the domain? Kylie. -1, -1, -8. Very good. What is the range, Rocky?
2, 3, 4, 5.
Perfect. All right, is it a function, Kelly?
Yeah.
This one is no, because those ones, there are 2 1s in the x's. Even though we don't write them twice, they are there in the x's. So it's not a function. Number 3, what is the domain, Jacob?
-6, -1, 5, and 7.
Good. What is the range, Braden?
-9, 2, 3.
Good. And is it a function, Axton?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. When you're looking at a mapping, if you have a number that has 2 arrows coming from it, that means that that x value comes up twice. All of these numbers have their own arrow. All right, last one. What is the domain, Keelan?
-8, 4, 6.
Good. What is the range, Zach?
-5, 0, 1, 2.
Good job. And last one, is it a function, Ella? No, it is not, because that -8 has 2 arrows coming from it. Now, that's all of the notes that are printed, but I do want to look at one other kind of example that I should have put in the notes. It's a graph that has points on the graph. These aren't really any different other than the fact that you have to figure out what the points are. I didn't put them in a table for you. So when you're writing out the coordinates, it's always x first and then y. So for example, this point right here, if I start at the origin, I go to the 2, this is my x-axis, this is my y. I go over to the 2 and up 1. So this is the point, that one right there is the point 2, 1. So what would this point be? 3, 2. Good. Because it went over 3, up 2. And it is hard to tell where I don't have the lines. I just drew this one really quick. Drew this one. Alright, what about this point? So if I start at the origin, I'm going left 1. So I need to put a what? -1, and then I went up 3. Good. And then, let's see. Let's do this top one. I've got -4, 2. Yeah, that one goes up 2. And then this one would be -4, 1. And then this one would be
-3, -3.
3. Yeah, it went left 3, and then it went down 3. So negative 3, negative 3. Is this one?
Dots above each other?
Mm-hmm. Yep, the vertical line would go through these 2 points. Those 2 points have the same x value.
Can't have that.
So my domain would be negative 4, negative 3, negative 1.
2 and 3.
Good job.
Good job, man.
And my range, negative 3,
Give me 1,
1,
2,
2,
3.
3. Very good. Are there any questions over domain and range?
Oh my gosh, my water's.